husband and I are on our way to Charlottesville, Virginia. It's our 29th wedding anniversary, and we are doing a little mini vacation. We are visiting a church that we went to when we first got married. We were just babies in our 20s, and we're going back for the homecoming. We lived in Charlottesville for probably about the first 7 or 8 years of our marriage. And so anyway, we're going and spending a couple of days and visiting friends and some of our old places. And for the trip, I wanted to read a book that would go along with the trip. So I'm reading this one. It's called Monticello by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson. She lives in Charlottesville. I don't know a lot about this book, but it gets really good reviews. And it's really like 5 or 6 short stories and then a novella, which is Monticello is the novella. So I look forward to reading that, and at the end of the video I will let you know how I like it. But in the meantime, I look forward to sharing with you some of the places that we're going to visit while we are in Charlottesville. Charlottesville is a book lover's paradise, so I'll show you some of those places, and we have a really cool place that we're going to visit on the way, and so I'll show you that also in just a little bit. So this is it. This is the Green Valley Book Fair in Mount Crawford, Virginia. When we lived in Charlottesville, we used to come here quite often, but then it was only open, you know, a few times a year. It looks like now it's open year-round. We used to love it, but that was a long time ago, and I don't know really what to expect now, but we're gonna go in and find out. So we have walked just right into the children's section. Lots of kids' books. I remember all of these Who Was books, these history books. I like Jacqueline Woodson. Caldecott books. I think that's why I don't really know what all is here, because when we used to come here, I had small children and I spent most of my time in the kids' room. I look forward to seeing what adult books they have. Let's head over to the classics section. See, like all these books are just $5. The Wizard of Oz. They're like not hardback, but not paperback either. It's like one of those kind of thick covers. These are nice books. I love that book. Okay, I thought that I had seen everything, and then I found out there's a whole downstairs area that I have not even looked at yet. So here we go. So that was worth a stop. When I say it was huge, this place was huge. They had every kind of genre that you would find in any major box store. Tons of books. And would you believe I walked out of there without buying a single book? But I also know that this weekend we will probably be in several bookstores, so I was restraining myself. Odo's Bagels. This was one of Andy's favorite places to eat when we lived here. Hey, and your favorite place? One of your favorites. What'd you get?
Pastrami with melted mustard.
All right. While we were in Charlottesville, we visited the University of Virginia. I've spent many hours on this campus and just wanted to walk around again. And I'm not going to show you all around the whole campus, but if you have never been there, it is definitely worth a visit if you're in the area. I did want to show you the library, however, because I love the way Thomas Jefferson had this designed. You can see that you walk in and it's sort of a, well, it was a planetarium, a multi-purpose room, but you really can't tell that. You can stand in the middle and see that it just looks like columns. All of the shelves, the library bookshelves, are hidden behind these columns. We didn't actually get to visit Monticello on this trip, but we did make a lunch stop at the historic Mickey Tavern. It's an old grist mill that has been converted into a restaurant, and it is a delicious meal, again, if you're ever in the area. On Saturday morning, we went to the farmer's market and found this painting of the downtown mall, which I absolutely love. And then that afternoon, we actually went to the downtown mall and visited some bookstores. There are so many used bookstores. Look at this bookstore. I love this. So many great used bookstores in Charlottesville, particularly on the downtown mall. This one is called Daedalus Bookstore. It's just like a house of books, all different rooms. Wow. These are old ones. Oh my gosh. Look how old. These are old books. Just room after room. Amazing. This little room. Talk about some old books. Wow. Downstairs. More rooms. Goodness gracious. And upstairs? Are you kidding me? This is crazy. New Dominion bookshop. I'm not completely sure if this is a used bookstore or a new books. I'm thinking it's maybe a little of both. We shall see. It looks good. We are back from Charlottesville now. We had such a wonderful time, and I wanted to let you know that out of all of those bookstores, I only picked up one book. I got East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I actually love East of Eden, and this is one that I have never read, but I have just recently started watching a YouTuber, Carolyn Marie Reads. I'll see if I can link her channel below. I've never tried to do that before. But anyway, she has recently discovered Steinbeck, and she read East of Eden and loved it. So she and I seem to like a lot of the same books. So Carolyn Marie, if you happen to be watching this, thanks for the recommendation. But now I told you that I would let you know what I thought about my Monticello. I finished reading it. I was right. It actually is 5 short stories and then a novella. I'll come to the short stories in a little bit, but I want to tell you about the novella first. This was actually not at all what I was expecting. I thought it would be historical fiction, like about Thomas Jefferson's and Sally Hemings' children set a long time ago, but it's actually a modern day story, maybe even set a little bit in the future, as in like something that hasn't happened yet, but that could very well happen. I read an article from The Guardian from 2021 where they interviewed the author, Miss Johnson, and she was living in Charlottesville during the time, you may remember, when the white supremacists came in and somebody was actually killed. A car went through the crowd, and she was actually living about a half a mile from the center of all that, and it was just a horrible time in Charlottesville. And this event maybe perhaps nudged her into going ahead and writing this book. She was only 50 at the time that she wrote this, and it was her first novella. I won't say a whole lot about it because you just need to read it, but I'll give you kind of the premise, what it's about. The principal character in this book, Denasia Love, was a first-year student at UVA and had grown up in Charlottesville. She was a direct descendant of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, who was one of Thomas Jefferson's slaves. Because of some rioting that was going on at UVA on that campus there, she went to live with her grandmother, who was living in Charlottesville in a little house in one of the neighborhoods. It was a predominantly African-American area and other minorities, and one night while she was there, a group of men came and began to set fire to the houses in that neighborhood. So Denasia and her grandmother and several of their neighbors ran to take cover in a city bus that had been abandoned on the street for a few days, and as luck would have it, the keys were in the ignition, and everybody at the time, it was just craziness and rioting, and people were just shouting, "Go, go!" And Denasia jumped in to the driver's seat and just started driving. She didn't have any idea where she was going. She was just driving to get away. And they end up driving to Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson, and it was just this motley crew of people who had piled into the bus, all people from that neighborhood. It was a retired white couple. There was a young prostitute. There was a couple with small children, 2 elderly ladies, one of them being her grandmother, and some young men, well, not actually teenagers, but actually young men, maybe early 20s. And so all of these people ended up seeking shelter and safety at Monticello, at least until they felt like it was safe to return to their lives on their streets. And that's really all I want to say, except that this book it's just heartbreaking. It really is. And it was really something to read this book while I was in Charlottesville, and especially having lived here and knowing the streets and the places that the author talked about. I thought, I know where that is. And even one night while we were there, I had Andy drive me to the part of town where I thought the author kind of placed the story. You don't know exactly where it is, but you certainly get a good idea. Now, the short stories in the book, the 5 short stories, I read those first, and I liked the novella better. It was interesting. It really kept me turning pages. I wanted to know what was going to happen, but the short stories were good as well. They were not pleasant to read, but they reminded me of the privilege that I have that not everyone has. My life certainly isn't perfect, but comparatively it is not all that difficult. So this is not a feel-good book. It is about people, children, who just have life a little more difficult. I knew this with my head, but it's another thing to read it and experience it through the eyes of someone else in a short story. Because even if this is fiction, and it is still someone's reality. It is someone's life. I guess it's good to be open to the discomfort that comes from reading books, because we have the opportunity to experience lives, worlds that are very different from the ones that we live in. After all, isn't that really a big part of why we read? I will say, though, that in this book, in these short stories, and actually in the novella as well, there's a spark of hope at the end of each story that you don't exactly know how it's going to turn out, but it leaves you hoping, leaves you guessing a little bit. So I will just leave you with that. I hope that you'll consider reading the book, My Monticello, and the stories that go with it. And either way, thank you for joining me and sharing my time in Charlottesville. I love that city. Let me know if you've ever been there and what are some of your favorite places to visit. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you in another video. And again, thank you for watching and hope you have a great week.